Hi guys, welcome to Bake It with AJ. I'm AJ and today we are taking some beautiful apples that I went to an orchard and picked fresh and transforming them and adding them to pancakes to make these delicious apple pie pancakes. So I went to Amsterdam recently, would strongly recommend once traveling is allowed again. But I had these pancakes, they were apple pie pancakes, and I was blown away. I was inspired to try and recreate them here at home. I was amazed because they surprisingly weren't overly sweet. The recipe and all my social media can be found using the links in my description below, so go check those out. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can join me every Wednesday for new episodes of Bake It with AJ. My tummy is a rumbling, honey, so let's get started. The first thing we're doing here is making the apple pie filling, for which I have about 4 apples that I have chopped into thin slices. Go ahead, peel and core them as well, that's very important. And I'm using good crisp apples. These are called Rome Beauties. It happens to be what was available at the orchard. Any good crisp apple like a Fuji or a Golden Delicious would work beautifully in here as well. I'm putting these in a small sauce pot over medium heat with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And to that, we're gonna add some flavorings like a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a half a teaspoon of allspice, a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, an eighth of a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of grated orange zest, and a tablespoon of all-purpose flour, which is just gonna help all this thicken into a nice, delicious, ooey gooey apple pie filling type of situation. So you wanna cook this on a medium heat until you can hear it start to bubble at the bottom. Stir it occasionally, cook it on low heat for about 10 to 12 minutes until the apples cook down. So for this pancake batter, in a bowl, I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour with 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, an eighth of a teaspoon of salt. We're just gonna mix all of these together and set them aside. Now for the wet ingredients, I have 1 cup of buttermilk, and to that buttermilk we are adding 1 large egg with 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now go ahead and whisk all of those together and go ahead and add your wet mixture to the dry. Now here it is very important to not overmix your batter. There's gonna be some lumps. You wanna mix it very minimally until it just barely comes together. So as you can see here, the flour's barely absorbed and it's still a little lumpy. That is how it's supposed to be. Cover this with plastic and let it sit in the fridge for about 10 minutes. Now when it comes to the caramel component of this sauce, you can make your own caramel, but honestly, honey, it's breakfast. Do you really feel like making caramel? No, not really. I didn't, so I got a good quality store-bought caramel sauce. Don't hate me for not making every component of this dish. It's okay, I won't tell anybody if you don't. So here I have my griddle that I've preheated to 350 degrees. If you don't have a griddle, you can use a skillet over the stove, medium heat, about 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and you want to heat that until the butter starts to bubble. Now on my griddle here, with our freshly chilled pancake batter, I'm using about a half a cup of batter per pancake, and I'm putting as many as my surface will allow here, and we're gonna cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes until the edges turn a little bit pale, and if you check with your spatula, the underside should be nice and golden brown. Go ahead and give those babies a flip and cook for another 2 minutes until the underside is golden brown and they're nice and steamy. So to assemble these pancakes, all I did was I took my pancake, spooned a little bit of our beautiful apple pie filling on it, topped it with another pancake, a little more apple pie filling, and a drizzle of our caramel sauce. And if you want a little bit of maple syrup, it's actually not overkill. I thought it would be, but it paired beautifully. And there you have it, people. I've already eaten most of them because they are just so good, and this was actually my breakfast today, but my goodness, these are stinking wonderful. I was pleasantly surprised at how well these came out, considering like I'm purely basing these off of something I had in another country. I didn't have a recipe, I kind of just put one together and it worked. So the recipe is in the description. Click the link, it takes you to my website. Check out my other social media. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and of course hit that subscribe button and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think of this or how your day is going. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Forget apple pie. Anytime I want pie, I'm just gonna make this now. Ooh, child.